Hey, everybody, welcome to On Grade. This is episode number 6. I've got Houston Garner in studio. We're finally doing one in studio. It's been a while. Devin is in Dallas at the Stars hockey game right now with his wife. So hopefully the Stars win tonight. Wanted to say that it's been a good time lately coming back on the air and seeing you guys and all that. So thank you for all the love and support. We're back up to about 700 downloads an episode already. So thank you so much for the love and support, guys. But I'm going to introduce my guest to you. His name's Houston Garner. He's a Air Force veteran and currently working for Lonestar Electric, getting ready to become a pilot. So Houston, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, exactly. So let's tell me your bio, man. What's your background, where you grew up?
Yeah, I'm from Arlington, Texas. Even though my name's Houston, my parents met and married there, so I'm a little piece of Houston. But yeah, I grew up in Arlington. Go down to Houston to see my dad and stuff in the summers. Because my parents divorced when I was pretty young. He was electrical contractor for Joe Moore down there, and when I was about 10 years old, he started his own company, A Services, and so that was pretty cool getting to see. Every time I was down there, I was at work with him because when you're an entrepreneur, you're just constantly going. There's always something to solve, always a problem to solve. So got to hang out with him. Always pretty interested in that. Then I got a little bit older. It's we'll do my own thing. So decided to join the Air Force. I had an uncle in the Air Force. He's the airfield manager at the unit I'm actually at, so I grew up going there too for Christmas and everything, and seeing Santa Claus come out of the C-130 and stuff like that. It was pretty cool. So I always looked up to the pilots and everything like that, but I didn't know any of them, and I didn't really know what it meant to be a pilot or an air crew member at all in the first place. So yeah, decided I could do that and pay for college a little bit and make some money and travel the world. Sounded pretty nice. Got lucky enough they took me along as a C-130 Loadmaster, so I started out doing that. It was an H model first, so it's a sweaty airplane. They're 1985 models or 80s, but we had good time. Got to deploy. Went to the Middle East while doing college at the same time at University of Arkansas. Just did all that online. It was pretty interesting though, taking a 16-hour mission and then going home to do B-Law in Kuwait. And then you're doing online virtual learning, and this guy's where are you at, man? There's a 550 cord with blankets around your room. And yeah, man. Other than that, just graduated last year, last May. Now I work at Lonestar Electric Supply, safety fleet coordinator there. And I do a lot more than that. That's just my title because they're a startup. They started in 2015, so they're pretty new. They started 3 locations. Now they have 3 locations in DFW area, in Fort Worth, Dallas, and McKinney. And we actually have a projects warehouse as well in Grand Prairie. So it's been a good time. And then they work with my schedule, so it's been great so far.
So I got to ask for the listeners, what was the process for you once you graduated? I know you go on the pilot route now. Mm-hmm. So what's that process to go from enlisted to officer to start flying? Do you have to go to OCS, or is that the plan, or how does that work?
Yeah. So for in the Guard, I think the Guard's the best kept secret. No one really knows about it because you can still be a civilian. It's pretty awesome. Yeah. Most of the time. But then I get to go fly a couple times a month and hang out with my friends, So I always wanted to do that. So I kind of always put in their ear, all the pilots, made coffee when I flew with them and brought snacks and stuff and made them happy. And then they have boards every year. Basically, they have a rated and a non-rated board. So obviously, I was non-rated because I don't have my commercial licenses or anything like that. I just started doing my PPL and everything soloed. Did that, just showed initiative and put my own money in it, showing that I want to do this no matter what. And if you guys don't take me, I'm gonna go somewhere else. I'm gonna go fly for a different unit. So then I went to the board and I got to interview. I put my packet together and everything. You basically tell them everything about yourself. You have to get letters of recommendation from other people. I got a letter from our old squadron commander, and his son was also going to the board.
That's cool.
So I was like, ooh, wow. Like it took guts to ask, but it worked out, for me. And then they decided to interview me. So there's like 150 applicants, and then it went down to 40. So 40 people got interviewed over 2 days, and then 3 people got selected, and I was lucky enough to get picked. So
that's insane, dude.
Yeah, my first try too.
Down to
so
3,
like,
man. That's pretty awesome, man. It tells you the kind of character and person you are. It
thank you.
takes a special guy to go from that level to be able to do what you're doing. That's really cool. So you're starting your flight training in the fall, right?
Hopefully fall or next year, beginning of the year.
Where are you going to go for that?
Yeah, so right now I'm about to go to Wright Pat in Ohio. So I'm about to go do it's called FC1, but it's basically your flight physical. That's like 3 days. Check my eyes, put some lasers in there, take my blood, all that stuff. Once that comes back good, then they're gonna give me dates for OTS, and I'll go to officer training school like you're talking about.
Right.
Yeah, and then that's 8 weeks long. That's in Alabama, I believe, or Mississippi, one of the two. And then after that, I get to go fly T6s, which is like a small prop plane. And that's basically where I'll learn everything, or how to be a pilot in the first place, Air Force pilot. I can go to like Del Rio, Texas, Enid, Oklahoma, or Columbus, Mississippi. Those are my 3 options. So we'll see.
Nice.
Hopefully Enid, because it's a little bit closer to.
Yeah, Enid's not bad.
Yeah, it's not too far.
I worked up there doing coal too, but it's not a bad place.
Yeah, it's like an hour away from OKC. So.
Yeah, you got Oklahoma City right there,
Yeah.
and then Kansas is 10 minutes away.
Yep.
Like the state line. So I know we're off topic about construction, but I find this fascinating, and a lot of our listeners are vets, and I just want to say thank you for your service and to our country. I haven't talked to someone really recently that's still in the military. Most guys I talked to got out, 5-6 years ago, and then what year did you actually end up going in?
December 27th, 2017.
Okay, so you went in about 4 years after I got out. I've heard it's changed a lot.
Yeah.
I heard it's not what it used to be.
Yeah. I feel like I'm kind of in a bubble because I'm in the Guard. It's like my Guard family. Like when we go out to deploy and see like active guys and stuff, it's like, whoa, what's wrong with those guys?
So funny story, and then we'll get to really talking business here. But when we were in Afghanistan, one of the landowners was the Tennessee National Guard, and their call sign was Chattanooga X-Ray. And whenever you're in the Army, you have landowners. So you have a sector in that country, like, hey, this battalion runs this area. So if you're coming from our area, which was my task force, which was up in Jalalabad or north of Asadabad, we were in the Ray area and all that. So we had to come south. And the call sign for the National Guard guys that were between us and 10th Mountain was Chattanooga X-Ray. Well, my squad leader is a complete fucking smartass. And we're driving down the road, and we get into their area. We were looking at the BFTs. You remember the BFTs, Blue Force Trackers. And, the line comes where we're going into their area. So we get on the radio so we don't get blown up. And we're like... Yeah. He goes like this. He goes, Chattanooga X-Ray, Chattanooga X-Ray. This is Sister Fucker 1, radio check over. And no bullshit. The guy at the top came right back on the fucking radio. Sister Fucker 1, Read Lima Charlie.
Perfect. Sounds right.
Yeah. So that's always been a running joke about those guys, but they were solid. We did some work with the Georgia National Guard, a few others. Worked with the Air Force a lot. Especially our fast movers over there. That was all Air Force. We had A-10s and F-15s, and those were some pretty solid dudes.
Yeah.
Their call signs were dude.
Dude, literally?
Literally,
That's
dude.
Funny. We're Roper, so.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
The best one of the Apaches, though, it's Pale Horse.
Pale Horse.
Yeah. Pretty freaking sick. So, your dad is in the excavation business.
Yep.
And I'm guessing you've been in the family business a little bit yourself.
Yeah, just hanging out with him, yeah.
Yeah. So what got you interested in the yellow iron?
Yeah. Probably him, honestly. Just growing up seeing him do that, and he's like, people just always come to him with like problems, which isn't always a bad thing, because that shows that they trust him, and there's a lot of respect there and everything like that. And he just always told me to be like solutions based, and like if you can figure out like anyone's problem, you'll make good money, and you'll meet great people and make great relationships. So, but yeah, so like flying was my passion. And I was like, man, I'm in the Guard. I got this awesome opportunity. Like I kind of want to do something on my own. And like, how do I do that? How do I figure that out? I started just talking to him about that a little bit, which is kind of hard, because I'm doing something totally different than him. He never did the military thing too, and all that. It's like double lives. Like it's pretty intense sometimes, and they can take you away whenever. And I know, like, as a business owner, you got to be there as much as you can. So
yeah, the thought crossed my mind a couple of years ago about going back in, and I don't know. I just miss the camaraderie, and I miss the brotherhood, and I had to sit down with my fiance and my mom, and we talked, and I'm like, I can't do that. It's not fair to my guys. It's not fair to the company. And, I've been out so long at that point, I was going to have to go back to training, of course, the route I wanted to go was going to be a pipeline. So it was going to be 2 years of being on active duty pretty much, and then finally come back to Texas. But it was like,
start a whole nother life already. So,
you got to go up to Fort Bragg and do all that. And I was just like, nah. I mean, I would love to, don't get me wrong. Yeah, it's a different story. But, one thing I will say that I do notice, there's a lot of vets in construction. There are. You run into them in spurts. Like, I'll go a year, I don't meet anybody that's been in the military or was in the military. And then I'll go a year, I'll work on a job, and the superintendent for the job is former Marine or former Army, or the project manager is former Marine, former Army, former Air Force, something. And, it's funny, you'll go in spurts, and, you run into guys. But I will say, if you're a guy that came from the military, especially in units like you were in or I was in, where all you got's each other, when you get on a crew in construction, you kind of have the same vibe, but it's a little different, technical stuff. And a lot of times, a lot of guys that you work with, a lot of guys in construction, the misconceptions you hear all the time is, oh, they're all ex-cons. Oh, they're all, not really. I know maybe a handful of guys that are like that. And honestly, those are the hardest working dudes we got. Yeah. It's, and they don't want to go back. They're going to do everything they can to stay out of that. And, so it's interesting.
Yeah. And, I feel like a lot of my friends too, like a lot of them went to college and stuff, and they think like, I don't know, getting their hands dirty is like something that's beneath them. That's something that really just irks me about people my age. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
Like they're afraid to, I don't know.
How old are you?
I just turned 25. So.
Yeah. Let's see. So put you at 98?
99.
99?
Yeah. When the Stars won.
Hey. Yeah. Yeah.
Won the cup.
Yeah. I was in 5th grade. So a little bit older than you. I mean, I got you about 10 years, but I don't know. I got a couple guys that are younger that work for me, and it took me a long time when I first got going again, hiring young guys, because I kept hearing that. Oh, you don't want to hire these young guys, man. They don't want to work, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I must have picked 2 good ones, because they work.
Yeah.
They're hard workers, man, and they want to learn. They're like sponges. But, you got to think something too, though. The generation now is tired of. I will say this about your generation: you guys are all sluggers, man. You guys all want to go do something different. You guys are they're calling you all the tool belt generation, because everybody wants to go to trade school now. They don't want to go to college, because they've seen like my generation go to college, and they're all in this massive debt, and they're working a normal white collar job, making shit money, and you can make more money in 3 or 4 years being a trades guy than you can working in an office.
Yeah, true.
So, and especially somebody like you got the military background, you got a leg up on so many people, man. And you have that discipline, you know. I'm sure you went right in at 18, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I personally believe, I've said this for a long time, I think everybody should do 2 years of civil service. I'm not saying being in the military, whether it's working at a, you know, as a social worker, you know, some kind of, maybe as a soup kitchen or, you know, law enforcement, fire department, you know, military, working on a farm.
Yeah.
You know, just get that feel of, hey, this is what supports America, you know? And I think a lot of the shit we're dealing with right now with the politics and toxicity of our country right now would probably not be happening. Because like if you go to Korea, you don't have that.
Yeah.
They make everybody fucking serve.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to be in the military, but everybody serves there in some form or manner. Israel's the same way.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just I think it'd be good. I think shit, do 2 years in the trades. You know, do an apprenticeship in construction, do an apprenticeship as a lineman, do an apprenticeship, you know, as a plumber, electrician, something. I mean, if you don't like it, so what? Go to college afterwards. But you get a taste of you gain a level of skill. Yeah, you gain a level of respect though too for blue collar workers, you know, and a lot of white collar workers do have respect, you know, but you know how it is. You know, some of them, they got the silver spoon. They never had to really work like that day in their life. And, you know, you got to give them that respect. But, you know, they have a lot of knowledge. I worked with a lot of people, man. I've been very fortunate. I'm sure you're in the same position I am. I've been around some very, very intelligent people in my life. They're computer programmers. They're doctors. They're lawyers, all these things. But half of them, if you talk to them and actually sit down with them, one of them was a truck driver at one point in time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you would never think that. This guy's driving up in an Audi, got a suit on, and you're like, yeah, this guy went to Harvard or something. He's like, no, I started driving a truck so I could pay for college. I mean, it's like respect, dude. You know, he went and got a CDL so you go to college. I mean, it's pretty dope, you know?
Yeah.
So, you know, it's not always what everybody says it is, you know, and I know a ton of successful people that worked in trades and then went on into the corporate America world, and they kill it over there. They're like, dude, this ain't that hard. You know, people bitch about working a 40-hour week. It's like, I'd give my left nut for a 40-hour week, you know? So I know we kind of got off topic there, but so mental health in the military and in the blue collar world, they tend to run together. Same shit. Different reasons, but same
very
shit.
Similar.
As someone who's been through traumatic events, I'm sure you have as well, that stress is the same, but it's different. I don't know how to explain it. I'm sure you kind of know what I'm about to say, but
yeah. Sometimes I'm like, man, I'd rather like go deploy than work a 50-hour week at the warehouse or 60-hour week or whatever, because it's like you embrace the suck with those dudes and like y'all just start laughing about it and stuff. It's so crazy. I wish I could teach that to the guys in the warehouse sometimes, because like guys, we don't have it that bad. Like
you'll run into guys, I don't know, maybe because of what you're doing right now, but you know, you get out in the trenches on a job site. Most of those guys are that way. They're yeah, this shit sucks, but we're getting OT right now.
Yeah.
You know, so it's kind of like, you know,
grass is greener.
You know, great. You know, you find the positive and the negative, and there always is one. It's just figuring out what it is. And for me, what helped me a lot lately is finding God again. Starting to go to church. That's really, I can't overestimate that. I'm not pushing that on any of the listeners or anything, but that's something that helped me. And it's one of those things that it'll help you become a better human being, I think. Whatever it is you do. You know, sitting down talking to a therapist. I don't know. You know, some guys are like, oh man, you know, weak guys talk to therapists. Oh, no, they don't.
No. Yeah.
No. You know, it takes a lot of, you got to find a way to let it out, man. Cause if you leave it inside of you, man, it's just going to poison you, and it's going to poison you. and it's going to mess with your relationships at home. It's going to mess with your home life. It's going to mess with your work life. It's just, you know, as a leader, you got to be able to identify it, though. And that's where a lot of leaders fail. They don't know when to lay off the gas on some people. They just stay on it. And guys are like, oh, my God, you know, this dude's up my ass, man. I don't know what to do, you know. And
trying to keep you accountable, basically.
Well, you know, you're an NCO.
Yeah.
You know how it is.
Yeah.
For anyone listening that's not military, an NCO is a non-commissioned officer, and they're leaders of enlisted men. It's the best job I've ever had in my life. Better than what I have now.
Yeah. For me, like when I started, like we had the HMR, like I said, so all these guys are like old crusty dudes. Like I was the youngest dude. I mean, this other guy, like we did training together. We came in, everyone else was like 40, like old, and we're 19. So like 20-year difference. And now like since we got the new plane, a lot of people didn't want to switch and everything. And like I did a border mission too and a deployment. So like I was gone a lot. I got back, and now we have a bunch of young guys came back from training. And I'm like 25, they're 19 now, and I'm like, I'm expected to like lead them and like teach them on the airplane and everything. So it's pretty cool to see like the transition now and like what it act like. It's like, whoa, this is insane.
I made sergeant at 21, and I had one guy that he just was that guy. You probably know what I'm about to talk about. You know, in the Army we call them call it the Mafia. You know, the E4 Mafia, Specialist Mafia. Well, this guy was a stereo freaking typical E4. Dude been deployed like 5 fucking times. Knew the job in and out. Knew everything about weapon systems. Knew everything about gun truck. Knew everything about tactics. Everything. He didn't want to be a fucking leader. They'd send him to the promotion board. He'd bomb it on purpose just so he wouldn't get promoted. He had no desire to go be in leadership. And he said, and I said, why? He says, I'll be a fucking horrible leader. I'm toxic. I said, I'm not the guy you need. Boy, I'll tell you something. You get in a firefight, though, that's the guy you want next to you. That guy right there. There's just, that's how it is, though. There's people that are leaders and there's people that are not, you know, and, you know, the saddest part is those guys that don't want it are actually usually the best ones because, like, I was talking to someone yesterday and I forgot who it was I was talking to. And I know it's somebody that's listening to the show. So whoever it is, you know what I'm about to talk about this conversation. The best leaders are the guys that don't want to be leaders. Like right now, our government, these politicians, the guys that should be running are the people that don't want to do the job. They don't want to deal with, you know, the Republican National Convention, the Democrat National Convention. They don't want to deal with, oh, well, this came out about you, blah, blah, blah. What do you have to say for yourself about that? They don't want to deal with the media. But you know what? Those guys are probably the best guys to get us out of the situation we're in right now.
Yeah.
Because they use this, you know, and I don't know. It's just, I don't think I'm a good leader. You know, some days I don't. I'm like, oh my God, you know, it's like, you know, everything goes, you know what I'm about to talk about. Everything goes wrong that you can possibly have go wrong. And you're just like,
yeah.
Can the adult come in the room now? Cause I'm ready for my nap. You know, I'm done. So, but what do you think about mental health right now in the world?
In the world? Not the best. Not the best, honestly. I feel like people are too much focused on like what other people are thinking and can't like have individualism and like believe in what they want to believe and not be scared to own that. Like, what's wrong with that? I feel like everyone's just like worried about getting canceled. So
I think a lot of people are just absolutely petrified now of offending someone or saying the wrong thing, and next thing you know, I'm canceled. You know, it's like, dude, you know, at the end of the day, you know, everyone's entitled to speak their mind. And if people would just put the bullshit aside for 5 minutes and actually sit down and have a conversation and not scream at each other,
Yeah. Listen.
they would be surprised how much that we all have in common with each other. I think that would help a lot of it.
Yeah. I have like one senior in CO. He's like, you have 2 ears, 2 eyes, and 1 mouth for a reason. Like use them in that order.
Yep.
That's really true.
It is, man. It's one of those things that you're not going to be a good leader if all you're doing is talking. You're not going to learn the things that you need to. You're not going to learn about your guys. You're not going to learn from possibly your clients or your leaders. Or being a leader sometimes is learning when to step back and just observe too. And that's where a lot of people have a problem. They don't know when to just step back and observe and see things that might be wrong, and then pulling that person off to the side and saying, hey, I wouldn't, what you're doing is wrong, and I think it's wrong.
Yeah.
And it's all on personality. Certain people, you can just pull them offside and tell them what's going on, and that's the end of it. Some people, you got to get in their ass for a week.
Yeah.
And when I was young, I was that guy who had to get in my ass for a week. That's how I was. I don't know. I just was very hard-headed when I was young. And I still kind of am, but not as bad as I used to be. But I had a real problem for a long time that I just keep things in. I wouldn't talk about it. And I think that's what got me to, I was like just angry at the world all the time, man.
Yeah.
It was just, guy could cut me off and that just ruined my whole day, man. Just be in traffic and cut me off. Yeah. Now I'm like, whatever, he's in a hurry.
Yeah.
She calls me out on it all. She's the one that broke me of it. I was getting better progressively on my own, but then, she's like, you'd be on the phone with me and someone cut you off or something, and you just mid-sentence telling me something, just go, fuck you, motherfucker, blah, blah, blah.
Flip the switch.
Yeah, just like a light switch, man. And, that's when I realized, hey, there's something wrong. I need to talk to somebody. I need to go get some help. And anybody that says that, and I know where it was coming from. It wasn't just the military. It was running a business, man.
Yeah. Stressful.
It's
all on you.
The baddest part is the stigma about PTSD is that everybody thinks that if you have it, you're destroyed. You're never going to be normal again. You're a terrible person. All these horrible things that happen. And, Hollywood doesn't help us. Every movie about veterans now, they're like, oh, they're going to come home and kill their wife.
Yeah.
No, that's not true.
Yeah.
That's not true at all. And you can get help. And I've watched it. I've seen my friends go through it. I've seen friends of mine that I went downrange with that they came home, they were completely fucked in the head. And they're a lot better now because they went and got help. Yeah. And I see it with guys in the field all the time. Guys in construction, they're fucking stressed to the max all the time. I didn't get enough hours this week. I ain't gonna be able to pay my bills, blah, blah, blah. It's all the same thing. It's just different forms of it. And sometimes you just got to step back and raise the hand and say, I need some help,
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to do it. That's as a leader, as a business owner, as a motor grader operator, whatever it is, man, take some time for yourself. Take a mental health day if you need to, take one. If you're stressed out, man, just take you a day, man.
Yeah. I'd say like one of the coolest things with like my boss currently right now is like, well, it's also me just being transparent, but like I tell him like I'll work like a 10-hour day there and then like 5:30, 3:30 or something or 4. And then I'll go drive to Fort Worth and I'll go fly for 3 hours and then I'll drive back to Dallas. And then I'll be like, hey man, I'm going to be in a couple of hours late. Like I got to like just relax for a little bit, and stuff. Yeah. He's pretty cool about it, which is awesome.
Yeah. That is really cool, man. The way you get to do this stuff, it's pretty sweet. So I like this question you had on here on the sheet, and then I think the listeners will too. When to say no and not being a yes man all the time. Are you referring to that with leadership? Like in being in a leadership place or something?
Not necessarily. I would just say my biggest problem was I always wanted to do everything. I always wanted to say yes to everything, and it was just like too much. I got to do some cool things like in the military and stuff because of I always said yes to everything. But it kind of like hurt my personal relationships. Like I have a fiance and stuff, and like it hurt through a lot. So when I wanted to go to pilot training and everything, she was kind of worried because she's like, "You're going to be gone. You're always going to say yes to everything. I'm never going to see you. Like, do I want to sign up for this? You know?" And that's where that kind of affected that. Like where I was like I don't always have to say yes. Like that's not gonna. People aren't gonna think anything different of my integrity or anything like that because I'm not saying yes all the time. You gotta take care of yourself.
You do. At the end of the day, you got to take care of you and your family. That's your number one priority in the world. Don't let anybody tell you any differently. Because at the end of the day, that's all you got is your friends and family. And as you get older, your tribe gets smaller. When you're in high school, you got 500 friends. You know, you're in college, maybe half that. You're in your 20s, you still got a pretty good sized group of friends. I can count on one hand who I consider a friend now. Seriously. I have associates, I have people I talk to, but I don't have a lot of friends. And I'd rather keep it that way, you know, because I know the guys that if I need to talk to somebody about something and I pick up the phone and call them, they're going to sit down and listen to what I have to say, and they're going to talk to me. And they might drive their happy ass over here and come out beer with me.
Yeah.
You know, but that's just, that's a friend. And I know this is about yes and no stuff. This is what I'm getting out with it. There's going to be times, man, when you're, you know, running a business and you work for a guy and they want you to do some work for free. Fuck you. You know? Yeah. I'm not saying fuck you, but you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
You got to learn when to say no.
Yeah.
You know, some people, they'll give away the farm. Don't even realize they're doing it.
Yeah.
You gotta stop that. You gotta learn at what point is enough. And you gotta have a line. And you draw that line. And when they cross that line, they're done. That's it. That's all there is to it. I'm done. I'm not doing it anymore. And if you lose a friend over that, a friend or a business associate over that, they weren't your friend.
Yeah.
They're using you. I mean, that's all there is to it, flat out. And, you know, in the military, man, the military's notorious for it. The military will bring you in, it will beat the shit out of you, and it will slam the door in your face when your time's done. They use you and abuse you. That's what they do. And it's just learning to get as much as you can out of them.
Yeah.
You know, and tip my hat to you, man. And I think it's going to be awesome. You're going to be a pilot, and, you know, you're going to be getting saluted pretty soon.
I'm going to run through the buildings and just ignore that.
Yeah.
It'll be funny for them to try to find me.
That's
outside. That's
the prior enlisted in you talking.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And Mustangs are the best officers, man. I don't care what anybody says. They are the best officers. And I'm very fortunate I had two awesome ones. And, you know, it's leadership in the military and leadership in construction and leadership just in society. It's the same thing. You know, a leader should lead from the front. They shouldn't be standing behind you and saying, do as I say, not as I do. And that's part of being a leader. You know, if you're not willing to go out there and sweep the street, shovel some dirt, jump on a tractor to help your guys finish the job up, you're not willing to take a phone call at 9 o'clock at night because the guy needs help because he's broke down on the side of the road. You know, I can't tell you all the crazy shit I've had to do as a business owner. And as a team leader, as a squad leader, I had to do some wild shit too. I mean, go get a guy bailed out of jail before the unit figured out he was in jail. I mean, I've done some off the wall shit. Just, you know, it's all part of the job, man. It's the same shit, honestly. It's just different circumstances. Yeah. And, you know, it's just building a culture in your unit or your company or whatever you're doing, building a culture of like-minded individuals that want to succeed. And if you can do that, you got it made, man. But the thing is, you got to constantly stay on it. It's not one of those things you just set it on autopilot and it works all the time. Yeah. You know, shit happens, man. People get divorced. You know, they're white. You know, the kid gets sick. The kid gets hurt. He's in the hospital. You know, we got a problem with, you know, we're behind on bills. You know, life happens. My wife got in a car accident. My son got in a car accident. Life happens, man. That's when you got to be there as a leader to help that person. And, you know, I do it all the time for my guys. When they have problems, I try to do anything I can to help them.
Yeah. Because
at the end of the day, I'm nothing without them. You know, my company wouldn't be anything without those guys. So you wanted to talk about building a winning culture.
Yeah.
In your mind, what's a winning culture?
Winning culture to me, I'd say winning culture to me is when everyone can get on the same page, whether they may not like believe in what's going on. They believe in the people, they believe in each other. Because I think any business is like, it's all like widgets. You can all replace anything, but what matters is the people and if they believe in each other, basically.
Yeah.
So I think that's winning culture.
Winning culture is, to me, this is going to sound crazy. This is my winning culture. Everybody went home from work the way they came to work. We got paid. The job got completed.
Yeah.
On budget. We got another job awarded. The stress level's lower because we're working as a team. We're all pulling our weight. We're communicating. And we're there for each other. And if you do that, dude,
yeah,
nothing can stop you.
Yeah, I would say like big thing for me like recently is like, so I like managed 30 drivers. When I started, we had 14 trucks. We bought 30. We have 32 trucks now, actually.
Wow.
30 drivers. So we've kind of grown like crazy. So like, honestly, like fleet stuff is but mostly what I do now. Like safety is like, I'm still trying to make that a priority in the warehouse, but like we have so many trucks going on. Like it's been crazy. And just like keeping track of drivers, reminding them, you gotta remind all, like beat down the same old thing, talking about like, hey man, like you're representing our company. You have Texas flags all over the truck. Like don't be reckless. Like that type of stuff. Don't text and drive, all that type of stuff. But I made it kind of fun, like creating a group chat and just like talking to them and sending them like daily little bits. Like it doesn't always have to be like, hey, reminder, like use your tarp today because it's going to be raining outside type of thing. I'll send them a quote. I'll send them stuff like that or a funny video. And now it just create like more relaxed between everybody. And now people are just talking to each other. Like the drivers will like, hey man, I went to that job site 2 weeks ago. Like I can give you the contact, and they're like helping me. And it's like, it just created everything. Everything's more efficient. People seem to be happier. I'm like, wow, this is awesome.
It all starts with communication.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, communication is key, basically.
You should treat, this is something I heard once. I don't remember where I heard it, but it's a lot of CEOs will say this. I treat the guy that sweeps the floors in this place just as good as the guy that cuts the checks.
Yeah.
And I don't remember where I heard it, but I'm not coining that I said this, just so everybody's aware. But it's the truth, man. And if you treat your guys, I tell my guys all the time, I'm not your boss, I'm your peer. Yes, I cut your check. Yes, I make administrative decisions. But at the end of the day, we're in a team, and we're in a fight every day. And our fight is we got to get this job done, and we got to get this job done efficiently and safely and profitably. And if we can do those three things, man, we got it made. And if you build the winning culture like you're talking about, it gets to the point, man, when the guys take pride in it. Like my guys today, prime example. We've had rain all week, and we're on a job site. They don't let us work Saturdays. My operators didn't even talk to me about it. They went up to superintendent, said, "Hey, is there any way we can work tomorrow? We got to get this done because we got to get on another job next week." They could have not said shit. They took that on their own to see, hey, we got to get to the next job.
Yeah.
And they're like, we'll take care of it. And I get a phone call at like 4:00. Hey, we're going to work tomorrow. We're going to take care of this. And I'm like, that's fucking awesome. I didn't even have to tell y'all to do that. And I wasn't even thinking about it. my concern today was dealing with an issue on another job, but that's just, when you got guys I've had guys that go work somewhere else and they come back and they're like, man, that environment in these other companies, it's all corporate. It's all about just making money. It's got to be done this way. It's got to be done this way. And I understand that. You got to build a winning culture. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's streamlined. I don't know. I've always been that type of guy that I know everybody's name. I know their wife's name. I know where they're from. I know their story. You know, I might not know everything about them, but I know their story. I know most of it. And, just those little things like that, it helps a lot. And you usually get a lot more loyalty out of a guy doing that.
Yeah.
And because loyalty is everything in this business. Military, construction. If you're not loyal to each other, man, you breed dissent.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Dude, I'd poison a well real quick. I've watched it
all
happen.
you have is your name,
I've watched it happen, man. You get those guys that come in there and they just start drama from the day they're there. And they get a rise out of it or something. I to this day, I go, what are you doing, man?
Yeah.
What is your end goal? Are you like literally like in Batman with the Joker? He's like, some people just want to watch the world. When Alfred said, some people just want to watch the world burn. I swear to God, it's the truth. I really believe there are people out there like that.
Yeah.
And the best thing you can do with those people is politely show them the door.
Yeah.
And if they don't get the hint, then you politely shove them out the fucking door. But you don't want to lose good people because of toxic leadership. And unfortunately, in the world right now, that is why certain branches of the military are having a problem with retention. All the good guys got out.
Yeah.
Because they saw the writing on the wall. They saw what was coming. They saw this bullshit about everybody's, I don't know how to explain it. I'm not going to get into politics with it, but you breed a culture of pampering, I guess you could say.
I think a lot of self victimizing and
yeah,
letting it happen.
And yeah, and nothing's my fault. I'm perfect. Yeah. And, that breeds dissent, breeds a toxic work environment. Who the fuck wants to do that all day? I'll tell you right now, that'd be the longest 4 years of my fucking life.
Yeah.
It makes it hard for a guy to want to go to work. And you got to think about that as a leader. Like, am I providing a good work environment or am I providing a toxic work environment? And some people just don't get it. They're so consumed with what's right in front of them. They're not watching the whole picture. Like, man, he looks miserable today. My guys, man, I can spot it a mile away. I know my guys, man. I see something wrong. I'm like, what's going on? Everything all right at home? Yeah, everything's good. What's going on? Oh, nothing, man. No, something's up. Now come over here. Let's go have a talk. And be honest with you, half the time it's something stupid. It's something that you could easily fix. Well, I told Chris, we should probably do this, and he told me to fuck off, blah, 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 and da-da-da. All right, let's go get Chris. Pull him off the side. We have a talk.
And they're like, yeah, man, sorry. We're good.
Would you want to get talked to like that? No, I don't want to get talked to like that. Have I ever cussed at you like that? No. All right, then. Yeah.
Shake hands and let's go.
Shit, when I came up, man, these old school guys, man, they throw your fucking heart at you, dude. They just fucking, the shit was no joke, man, back in the day. But I get it. It's a different generation, and you gotta. It's funny, the way I talk to my old guys is completely different than the way I talk to my young guys. It's two different styles. And the thing is, I'm very fortunate in my generation that I got raised by those guys, but I'm raising y'all's generation now. And I'm not saying like I'm your dad or anything, but in management, most people my age are managers for people your age.
Yeah.
So it's training the next group. and saying, okay, everything you got taught in fucking school is stupid. Okay. It doesn't apply to the real fucking world.
There's what my boss told me the first day.
There's winners and there ain't no fucking losers.
Yeah.
There's bums. You either figure out how to win or you fucking lose. And if you lose, it ain't going to end well for you. And you figure out a way to exceed in life, because nobody's going to be there to hold your fucking hand. And that's how you got to be about it, man. And a lot of people, they just don't seem to grasp that concept.
Yeah.
And I get it. You know, it's the way technology's changed a lot of this. You know, kids now, I just watched a movie. The guy's dad was like, how come you don't have any friends? He's like, I have thousands of friends all over the world, you know? And he's like, those aren't your fucking friends, man. You playing online with these people. Not a hit on anybody. I got friends that I met online, you know, but it's just the culture's different, and it's going to be hard for them to come into a world like ours. And I think that's why the military is also having problems, is because I don't know how to explain it. You're taking a whole group of people who really have isolated themselves, and then you're trying to put them together and make them into Marines, sailors, soldiers, airmen, construction workers, teachers, entrepreneurs.
They don't know how to communicate.
They don't know how to talk. So it's one of those things that it's like you want to almost catch them when they're right out of school and go, okay, this is how it really works. This is what real life is.
Yeah.
It can beat you down, and life will beat you like nothing else ever will. And the thing is that you got to learn is how to get back up. And a lot of people don't know how to do that. They get knocked down and they're done. I'm done. I can't take this anymore. It's like, dude, you got a flat tire. It's okay. We're gonna help you fix it. Okay.
Yeah.
You don't know how to change a tire. Well, guess what we're going to teach you how to do today?
Yeah.
No kidding. I kid you not. We were recording a podcast. It was, God, someone over here is about to know what I'm about to talk about. We had Devin was here and someone else, and they had just left. It's probably like 9:30 at night. And our front door rings. And it's this kid. And he's like, hey, man, do you have a tire jack? I was like, yeah, I got a tire jack. And I look at the front of my house, and there's this car just sitting on its fucking, not even sitting on the tire. It's sitting on the disc. No, the brake disc.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, oh, shit. So I go running in my truck, grab my jack, and grab my air ratchet. And I run out front, and his mom's there. And she's like, I'm so sorry. You know, he's like, I kind of got it off. I think I got it off. Well, he'd stripped the threads on the lug nuts, and luckily I had one. And luckily it fit. So I got him hooked back up and sent him down the road. And it was funny because, like, I'm sitting there talking to him, and I'm like, hey, you know how to torque these? And he's like, no, not really. And I'm showing him how to do it and all that. And I didn't have a torque wrench, so I just over-torqued it I told him, though, go to discount, you know, and they'll torque them down to spec for you. I said, don't drive very far with it like this. Just get down the road. Well, a couple of days later, Steph goes out on her porch, and there's a TIF treats box there with a note on it that says, thank you for fixing the tire. I'm just like, you know, I didn't expect that. You know, it was, but it was funny because he was such a young kid, and he was trying to act like he knew what he was doing. And I wanted to, and I knew why, because his mom was right there.
Yeah.
But I wanted to pull him offside and be like, dude, I ain't trying to take your man card.
Yeah.
If you don't know what you're doing, dude, I'll show you.
Let's learn. Yeah.
You know, because something that I noticed about my generation that we're trying not to repeat to you guys. My generation, when I came into the trades, the mentality was, yeah, fuck these kids. We're not going to teach them shit because they're going to take our jobs. And that was the mentality. And it was like that for a long time. And you had to just kind of suck it up and just do what you had to do. Nobody was going to say nothing to you. Nobody's really going to talk to you. You just had to earn their respect. And like now, man, I wish I could come into it now, because guys my age, guys a little bit older, we're all about showing you how to do it. We want you to learn.
Yeah.
We want you to succeed. And it's just like, I don't know what happened, what that reasoning behind that mentality was, but it sucked. You know, it was hard as a new operator or even a laborer to earn respect and earn your way up. And it sucked, man. I mean, I worked for my buddy's dad's company.
Yeah.
And I still got treated like that. You know, I get it. Yes. I shouldn't have got treated any better. I'm not arguing that, but I'm giving an example of it's my buddy's dad's company, and it's still like that. Like, you know, it was that mentality, and it's changed a lot for the better. And you might have heard about it being in the trades. You probably heard that too, that the old days it was like that. Yeah. Nobody really wanted to show you.
Figure it out.
Yeah, figure it the hell out.
Yeah.
And you know, a lot of people, they don't see it that way anymore, and I'm glad they don't. So, what are you expecting the next generation of guys to think about when they're coming in the workforce? What do you think it's going to be for them?
Past me?
Yeah, the kids coming up now.
I'm going to lead.
Yeah, like the ones that are behind you. You're starting to see it now.
Yeah, they're a lot different than me, which is crazy. I feel like the COVID years and stuff, like they're just very in their head. Mm-hmm. Like guys just talk. Like, I don't know what you're thinking, man. Like I can't tell. Like I can't read your face.
Really?
Yeah. I just feel like they're really quiet and isolated, and like very big into video games and stuff. Which like I played Xbox and stuff growing up and everything, but like I'm not really that much into it. So they're just like really quiet, shy. You got to crack the shell. Like.
Yeah, I noticed that with the couple of young kids we got working for us. If you make jokes with them, you kind of get your way in with them. But if you got to be serious with them, they go right in the shell, man.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that's about. And I get it. It's probably just because of, like you said, video games and not really being out in the world as much. You know, I talk to Steph about it all the time, and I'm like, so what are these seniors doing? They're going to have a pasture party? She's like, no, they don't drink anymore. I said, what?
Yeah. Cameras everywhere.
I said, dude.
Get caught.
Ruin
your life.
We was fake IDing it at the gas station buying a dirty 30 at Keystone.
Yeah.
You know, and you was out in the pasture with a barrel with a fire going and backed all the trucks up and everybody's getting fucked up. That was my generation, dude. Yeah. You know, and, you know, shooting guns off in the middle of the night, blowing shit up. That's what we did, man. That was what we did, you know. And it's funny, you know, like I don't, and I noticed something too, you know, I'm a motorcycle rider. You don't see a lot of young motorcycle riders anymore. You don't see a lot of young guys on crotch rockets anymore. Like I'll see these crotch rockets and I'm like, oh, he's going to be like 21, 22. Dude, takes his helmet off. He's my age. I'm like, fuck. How old are you? 33. You're still riding a crotch rocket? Like 28, man. I was on the Harleys, man. Yeah, nice. Dynas are more fun for me. But I would say the kids coming into the dirt world, like what they should expect. Get up at 5:30 in the morning, get in the truck, go to work, or car, whatever you drive. Maybe a scooter. I know that's the thing now. Come to the job site and get ready to work, you know? And it's not play on your phone time. It's time to go to work. And I think if these kids are given a shot, you know, people actually give these kids a fair chance at it, and they're open and they talk to them and they communicate with them and they tell them their expectations up front and they mentor them, I think you're going to have some hell of a good next generation of operators, of electricians, plumbers, HVAC guys, linemen, firefighters, whatever.
Yeah.
I think you're going to have a good group of them. I think the kids that are going in the military right now, to me, I got mad respect because nobody wants to join the military right now, and they still are.
Yeah.
That to me was like, that's awesome. It speaks volumes about them because the current political climate, I wouldn't want to be going in the military right now.
Yeah.
You know, it's good to see. It gives me hope, and I think it's going to be. I think the next generation is going to do well in this business. I think they will. I think a lot of them are going to start their own businesses too. Yeah. I really do. I believe that.
How do you think most young guys find the dirt world? Is it from family or
social media? I think. Media. Okay. You know, because a lot of them are on TikTok. Yeah. That's the big thing now. And you know, you got these pages that really do our industry a service. You know,
I think those, like, looking at those big toys, like, that stuff makes me like hype. Like, I'm like, that's awesome.
When I was a kid, man, we played with Tonka toys, man. Yeah. That was what got us into it. And you know, it used to be, you go to the playground, they used to have little excavators. It had 2 sticks, and it was a boom, and you could actually sit on it and run it like an excavator. And hell, they've got a toy bulldozer now, but it's like you can run it. Like it's like on a lawnmower chassis, but it's got a bull blade on the front of it. It's got real tracks. It's rubber tracks. I think they use skid steer tracks, but I saw a video. She sent me the video of it on TikTok the other day. I was like, I'm buying one of those. Like, you can full size man can run it too. I'm like, dude, we need one of those for the backyard. I can fix some stuff. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I really think that, you know, that, I don't know, the technology thing is helping a lot with these kids because, you know, they're already, Caterpillar's already doing, like, they're building these systems that are like VR. So all these kids have been playing VR, and they're building like legit controls that you can run excavators with VR. And it's pretty freaking cool. I just saw a video about it the other day. So, I mean, I think they're going to pick it up faster.
Yeah. Yeah, like I train all the guys on the forklifts, and like we have sit down, stand ups, all that stuff. Like the stand ups, they're like one day, the next day, like I'm like, hey guys, let's go pick up some pallets like on the highest racks, and they're like, all right, no, easy.
Yeah,
it's like, dude, it's crazy.
So I thought I was hot shit back in the day playing Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare. Just saying, this is 2006. That was about the last time I played video games. But anyways, I started learning how to run an excavator. That was the last machine I learned how to run, by the way, which is hilarious because it's usually like the middle one you learn how to run. I was running a motor grader before I was running an excavator. I could not fucking load trucks if my life depended on it. I would come up with a full bucket, and I'd have to stop, stick the stick out, and I couldn't get the coordination of it down. And it was hilarious. I could run dozers, I could run skids, I could do all this other stuff. And it would just kick my ass running an excavator. And my buddy's like, "You don't play video games anymore, do you?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "Yeah, it's just like 2 joysticks on the on the video games." I'm like, "Dude, I can't do it anymore. It's just my hand-eye coordination just wasn't there anymore." I was shocked by it. I was like, I can do this with a rifle. I can do this with anything else I do in my life, but I can't run this fucking excavator. And it drove me nuts. And it literally took, no shit, this really happened. It literally took my best friend. Me and him went and did a side job on a golf course, and we had an excavator out there. And I was
a pond or what?
No, we were shaping the peninsula that they had in the middle of this pond.
Yeah.
So we had to build this huge stockpile, and we didn't have anything else out there. So he's cleaning it with the excavator, grading it and everything. And I'm like, "Dude, I'd fuck that up." He's like, "No, you wouldn't. Come on, get in there." So he has me open the front window, and he's coaching me as I'm doing this. And dude, finally, like, I think it was the second or third day, I finally got it. And ever since I've been fine, but it was just, I'm not afraid to admit it, man. Yeah. I was fucking horrible for a long time. I loved running it, but I just sucked at it so bad. And my confidence just kept getting knocked down. I was like, man, I'm just going to go get back on the blade, man. I'm good. I'm going to go get back on the dozer, you know? And I had the same thing with the track loader. I had a love-hate with that thing for a long fucking time, too. You know, it was definitely interesting. What was the hardest machine for you to learn how to run?
Probably, I've driven like a AT forklift. It's like a big one before. Yeah. That's pretty difficult. We're not supposed to like be qualified in that as Loadmasters, but we've done them sometimes because like in case you need to go, you're going to an airfield and there's no one there to operate the equipment. You got to get the pallets off. Like the guys need the beans and the bullets. Like someone's got to know how to do it. Probably one of those just because it's really big and I'm scared to hit the tail.
Yeah.
And like at nighttime in VGs, I was like, that's kind of sketch. But
yeah, I remember I only rode on a 130 once. I rode on the Cadillacs all the time. We rode on C-17s.
Yeah.
And
Gucci boys.
yeah, they are Gucci.
Yep.
Best sleep I ever got in my life was on a C-17. Those combat landings ain't no joke, though. Coming into Bagram and stuff.
Yeah.
Oof. Did you ever make it over there? Did you go to Bagram?
Yeah. Been there.
Did you help with the evacuation?
I was not there during that time.
You got lucky.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, they were most of those guys that were running out of there, where were those guys based out of, those crews?
I think Kuwait. And then probably the C-17 guys probably in Germany flew down or something.
Yeah.
Most of those guys go to Germany first.
You guys don't got 17s at your base?
No, so I fly in Carswell or NASJRB in Fort Worth. So we have the C-130. We have a Marine Reserve unit too, which my cousin's a Loadmaster there.
Oh, no shit.
And then we have the F-35 across the flight line, and then the reserve unit at our base is about to get the F-35. So
that's dope.
It'll be pretty awesome.
That is dope.
Yeah, but they create a lot more security, so that sucks.
Yeah, the Marines got the vertical one, that vertical takeoff 35s. Those are pretty freaking cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember one crashed like a couple months ago
Yeah,
over there at Carswell.
Yeah, at our base.
Yeah. I had I think the coolest plane I ever saw was there used to be a spot we used to train at on Carson. I was stationed up in Carson in Colorado, right by the Air Force Academy. And there was a training area we were at, and there was a valley. And the F-15s, F-16s, F-22s would come flying through that thing, dude. They're based over there at Schriever and Peterson.
Yeah.
Dude, they'd come flying in, dude. They'd be banking. You'd see the contrail on them coming off the wings from the G's. And these dudes probably run mock, dude, because it's wide open. They're it's nothing's out there, so they can fly. They can fly wide open, dude. You'd see them coming through there, and just, and then about 2 seconds later, you hear, hear the roar. It was just nuts, man.
Yeah, I just did I went to Chile for 17 days. So every 2 years we go to Chile. It's called FDI. It's like the biggest air show in the Southern Hemisphere.
That's awesome.
And that's one of our partnering nations. So we flew down the maintenance people and everybody for the F-22, and then we were watching it. It was crazy. Everyone was wanted to see those guys. I was like,
I still don't.
Hey, this plane's cool.
I still don't understand how they can justify that they're replacing it with a 35. I'm like, dude, 22 is way better bird, dude.
Yeah, and
I know they're working.
A-10 too. That's gonna go away.
I know,
and it sucks.
The Army's trying to get it.
Yeah, I feel like the A-10 is a very capable aircraft.
They need to send that to the Marines of the Army.
And it's cheap.
They need to send that to the Marines of the Army because they would keep using it, because that is the best anti-tank weapon system we got. And honestly, dude, if you're a grunt, you love them fucking things.
Yeah.
Every time I'm at A-10 pilots, I bought them a shot. I'm like,
cool.
Sir, no, Sergeant. I'm like, no, sir, I'm buying your drinks. I don't give a shit. They're like, yeah, well, you don't make, I don't give a fuck. I'm buying your drinks.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be here right now if it wasn't for you guys.
Yeah.
Same thing about Kiowa pilots too.
Yeah.
In the Army. A good buddy of mine, former Kiowa pilot. And, dude, those guys are nuts, man. Yeah. They'd come in on a gun run, and back then they'd fly with the doors off. Well, one pilot would be flying, the other one would hang out with it, and he'd be firing stuff off the rails on this thing, and the other pilot would be hanging out the door with the M4 just popping, dude.
That's insane.
Respect, bro.
Yeah.
Those dudes were nuts, man. We said not all angels wear white back then, man. That was tits. I've really enjoyed having you on tonight, Hunter. You got anything else you want to talk about, man?
I'm good.
You sure?
Yeah.
I did a lot more talking than you tonight. That's not like me normally.
Yeah. Guess I brought up some good memories.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
It's been a great time, man. I'd love to have you back on. Definitely.
Yes,
I want to hear more about how the pilot stuff goes for you. And,
yeah. Excited.
But good luck on your journey, man.
Yes, sir. Thanks.
And make us proud. I know you do a good job.
Yes, sir. Thanks.
Yeah. Well, if you would, guys, give us our 5 stars on Spotify, like, rate, and review on Apple. If you're watching us on YouTube, please like, share, and subscribe. We're on TikTok. We're on the Gram. We're on Facebook and LinkedIn, I think. Yeah, we're on LinkedIn. But if you want to be on the show, give us a shout. If you have any questions you want answered, shoot us an email at ongrade88@gmail.com. And as always, guys, thank you for what you do. You know, we don't get thanked enough for what we do. And stay classy and keep at it, and just keep having grit, man. And take time with your family. Take time for your mental health, guys. It's the most important part. You know, want to see you here in a few years. We don't want to hear about anybody going away. So have a good night, guys. We'll see you next time.